We are now in step 14.7, which is all about selecting printer options, so preparing a document for print. You should be in your Ergonomics 5 document. If not, go ahead and open it. Alright, then let's go to our File menu and select Print. Now, notice that when you select Print, you're able to see the printing settings, and you also have a preview of your document. Alright, so drop down under Printer, and you should see a list of printers. All of these printers that you see are signed on with this computer. So you always have to make sure before you print that you select the correct printer. That could be one reason why you print something and your job doesn't print, because you did not select the right printer. For example, this printer here is my home printer. So if I'm at work and I click this printer, obviously I'm not going to get the document that I need. So make sure you always select the printer that you want to print your job. So go ahead and click out of that without making any changes. Now, at the bottom of the preview pane here, if your document was more than one page, you could actually scroll. Our document is only one page, so you can use the arrows to go back and forth among the pages. At the top of the pane here is where we determine the number of copies that we want. Let's just change it to 3. You can manually put in 3, or you can use the arrow up, arrow down key. Change it back to 1. That indicates how many copies will be printed. In the middle of the pane under settings, note that the first setting is to print the entire document, which is the default setting. However, stop printing whole documents if you don't need the whole document. Only print what you need. So if you drop down on this box, you can select other options. If you only wanted to print the current page, then you can just print the current page, which is the page that we are previewing right now. Or you can print custom range of pages by selecting specific pages to print. Let's go ahead and click out, and notice the default to print the entire document is shown. Now, say for example we had a 50-page document and we only wanted to print specific pages. Obviously you don't want to print the whole 50 pages. So basically, say you wanted to print the first 5 pages, then you would say 1 through 5, and I also wanted to print pages 10 and 12. Then I would do a comma and type 10, comma, 12. So when you want to do a range of pages, then you separate the pages, and notice the screen tip is also giving me suggestions. You separate the range by a dash, and then the single pages by a comma. Again, the screen tip is very helpful if you don't remember how to do a range and random pages, to give you that information. Alright, so now we are going to look at our printer queue. Drop down under your printer and select a printer that does not say 319B. So let's see. I will select this printer and click print. Alright, now every time you click the print button, that print job is stored. So when you are trying to print and your document does not actually print, do not continue to hit the print command over and over again, because every time you hit that print command, that job is stored. Instead, troubleshoot why your document did not print. So we just sent something to the printer and it has not printed, so now we need to investigate. One way to do that is to open up your printer queue. And there's several ways to get there. One way is by opening up your control panel or by going to devices and printers. I will go to devices and printer, and it brings up all the devices and printers hooked up to my computer. Now, this is the computer I believe that I sent my job to. And notice when I move my mouse over it, it tells me that I have one document in queue to print. The printer is offline, which means that printer is not online for me to print. So let's double click, and it opens up what is called a document queue. All of your jobs that you print are stored here waiting to print. So let me open this up so you can see. Now, it tells me that the document is Microsoft Word Ergonomics 5, the owner that sent it to print, page 1 of 1, and the time that I sent it. Generally, it gives a status, but because the document is offline, it's not giving me a status, but it would say error, it'll give an error or something like that. Again, you don't want a job that you don't want to print to stay in a queue, so go in and delete it. So in order to delete it, you simply select it, go to document, and cancel that item. Are you sure you want to cancel? Yes. And your document has disappeared from the document queue. So now if I actually add that printer online, that job will not print. Remember, investigate those print jobs instead of constantly hitting the print key. As I move my mouse over that printer, it's still telling me that I have one document in queue, but when I double click, let's see if it's there. It has disappeared, so it is no longer there. So we've just learned how to troubleshoot one way to figure out what's going on with our document by opening up that printer queue. This concludes printing options. Save this step, and I will see you on the next step.